What's going on, everybody? So today's modification, we are going to be upping the boost on this RB26 DETT on my R33 GTR by removing the boost restrictor pill here that was put in from the factory as part of the gentleman's agreement. I'm sure a lot of you are aware that pretty much all JDM cars back in the 90s had around 276 horsepower, and that was based on emissions, yada yada yada. So Nissan got smart on the RB26. They put a little pill in here and they put it in the super convenient location and even highlighted it in yellow. So if we want to remove it, all we got to do is take this hose clamp, pull the hose off, work the way out, work the boost pill out, reconnect it, and off we go. So there's one of two options. We can either cut right here, grab the hose, put it back up, reclamp it. But I'm going to try to remove the hose and first try to work the boost restrictor pill out so I don't have to cut this and keep it off to the side in case I want to reinstall it and put it back in. So we're going to check the boost. Factory boost on this car is about 0.7 bar, and removing this I should be getting about 1 bar. And as we all know, the factory boost gauge on the R33 is in I don't even know right now, -7 + 7. So we're really not able to see the boost in bar. So I'm going to install this Apexy boost gauge. It's just a mechanical boost gauge I picked up today. So we're going to first start off by getting this in there. I'm going to wire it up, route the vacuum hoses. I'm going to put a T in here, and then we'll get that all set up. So hang tight and let's go ahead and get this thing started. Alright, so for the first step when installing any kind of gauge is finding a good location for it. And personally, I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Some people like the pillars, other people like mounting them up here. I've always liked mounting them right here. So when I'm looking down at my tachometer, my speedometer, boost gauge is right here. So this is probably where I'm going to put it. This is a 60mm boost gauge, so it's a little bit bigger than the 52mm I'm used to working with. So once you find your mounting location, went ahead and get all your wiring hooked up. So I've got some vacuum line I'm going to put in here. I'm going to find a spot up underneath. Next we got to find a spot to get in the engine bay, and we'll route the vacuum line through, and I will tee it off to one of the vacuum lines, probably the connector I have for the factory boost gauge. I'll just tee right into that. We'll take standard needle nose pliers, get the hose clamp, and slide it down. Alright, so this hose has been on here for quite some time, so I might have to spray a little bit of lubrication right here, and I'm going to work it off. I don't know if you guys can see the restrictor pill. It's a little ways down there, so I'm going to work on getting it out, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like once it's out. So there's really no right or wrong way to get this thing out. I'm just sitting here with my pliers and getting behind it and kind of inching it up. It seems to be working. It's almost out. And that is it. So you had a better look at that. So that is the gentleman's agreement secret weapon. There. And let's go ahead and put the hose back on. And put the hose clamp all the way back up there. I'm trying to do this with one hand. Let me put the camera down. Boom. And And just like that, everything is hooked back up, ready to go for a test drive. Alright, so the trickiest part so far in this boost gauge installation is actually finding a spot in the firewall to get the vacuum hose through. So I stuck the flashlight in the hole where I removed the grommet, turned it on, and it is dark out. And I figured, you know what, might as well shine some light through there, and hopefully I can see where the light leads to. Because I got some recommendations to remove all the paneling here, but I really didn't feel like doing that right now. So I was like, you know what, let me go check up top and have a look down. Let me see if I can turn the light off if you guys can see what I'm talking about. See the light shining on the hose right there? It's kind of tricky to see with the camera. I can't really get the camera in there. But there's the vacuum hose. So I just fed it from the top down straight into a little hole down there, and then I went back around to where that grommet is, opened it up, and sure enough, the vacuum hose was sitting right there. So I stuck my hand in there, grabbed it with 2 fingers and pulled it through. And I just made a little hole in the grommet so I could seal it back up and feed the vacuum hose through. So right now, we are sitting with this vacuum hose, which now I need to tee in to one of the boost lines. So you can see this little black box right here. You can see the clear hose that I have routed running all the way along. Let's see if I can get the light in here to the back of the plenum. So I'm gonna tee into that because that's what I'm using. This is for the factory boost gauge. So I'm just gonna tap in maybe right here, so I don't have a bunch of vacuum lines running everywhere. Try to keep it as short and simple as possible. I might throw the T right here, and then yeah, it should be good to go. All right, so that is the grommet that I removed. So if I get a better angle with the light for you guys, set the camera down. All right. So I cut a hole through the grommet. I'm gonna go ahead and replace it. Seal up the firewall. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there and say this is such a pain in the butt. Like, wiring and electronics and all that is not my favorite thing to do. Sometimes you just gotta do it. Alright, so you guys can see right here, this is where cut a little slit in the grommet that I was talking about. And now I'm going to pull the vacuum hose through so I have enough slack on this end inside the cabin so the vacuum hose can reach the boost gauge itself. I fed the vacuum hose up underneath the dash, and I just routed it right through this little crack and then pulled it up top. So this should give us more than enough room, more than enough slack to get hooked up to the back of the boost gauge. It's gonna go on just like that. And then if we look up top, I still have plenty of hose to work with. I'm gonna cut right around here, and then I'm just gonna tee this in right here. So you don't want to cut it too short. It's always good to leave a little bit of slack. So hose is kind of loose. I might just snip it right here, throw the T in, and then we'll get the gauge hooked up. And this is the little T that I'll be using. Got it at a local hardware store here in Japan. 129 yen, it's about $1.29. Seems pretty sturdy. And let's go ahead and cut the vacuum hose. Alright, so I went ahead and cut the vacuum hose to the factory boost gauge. And I cut the hose leading to the boost gauge. Alright, so I got the T in, so everything should be good to go in the engine bay. So we're going to move back into the cabin and get the vacuum hose hooked up to the boost gauge. Before I mount it, we'll go ahead and turn the car on, make sure everything's hooked up correctly. We should be seeing vacuum. And then if all systems are green, we'll go ahead and put the double-sided tape on the mounting bracket and then get it hooked up, and we should be done. So let's go back in the cabin. Alright, so I've got the boost gauge hooked up. We'll go ahead and turn on the car. Alright, we're showing vacuum. Alright, I think the boost gauge is good to go. So we'll go ahead and get it mounted up and then go from there. Alright guys, that's going to do it. The gauge has been mounted. So here's the Apexy boost gauge. It's kind of cool. I just installed the Apexy power intake system, so you know, I'm gonna throw another Apexy part in there. But to finish up the install, all I did was take some 3M tape, double-sided tape, put on the mounting bracket, and then I hooked the bracket up to the actual pod itself, and then I seated it down, made sure I had the vacuum hose in there, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna mess around with the lighting on this thing tomorrow. I don't feel like working on it right now, honestly, and it's not too exciting to show you guys. I just wanted to make sure I got the gauge in there and it's properly working. However, I did do a little drive around the neighborhood, and a first gear pull showed 1.2 bar of boost. Now, I was hoping to get 1 bar. That's what I read on the forums. People are saying, oh, you know, remove the pill, you're gonna get 1 bar. I'm showing 1.2. I don't know if the gauge is messed up or if that's an R32 thing and the R33s go to 1.2 bar. I don't know, maybe somebody can chime in on that in the comments below, but I'm definitely hitting 1.2 according to the boost gauge. The car feels great. It definitely pulls harder. I noticed a big difference on top of the front pipe and everything else I've done over the past few weeks. The car seems a lot more responsive, and the lower end is noticeable quicker. So overall, super pleased. I don't know if I'm going to keep it long term. I know the ceramic wheels are known to go out. Obviously, I don't want that to happen. So I might drive around, have some fun with it, and then maybe put it back in, who knows. Or just leave it in there and say screw it with the stock turbos, wear them out and get some new ones down the road. But it's going to do it for today's video. So please throw me a like. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm trying to get videos up every week now, so you guys can see what's going on out here in Okinawa and what's going on with my GTR. So I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.